Thing. Hello there, everybody. Yes, I can see us. So, hello, wonderful people joining us on this Saturday evening. Welcome back. How are you? I hope your week has been well. You had good meals, seen people you love. Well, if you haven't, share a bit of good time with us here. Be sure to take meds if you haven't done that, because I'm getting into a habit of saying that to anyone who hasn't done it. Take care of yourselves. But welcome. You join us as part of the D&D 5e homebrew adventure we have here on Saturday nights with our all PoC crew, DM'd by myself, Angela / Phoenix 24 Fem. So before we get into a lot of the nitty gritty of fun and ridiculousness that is this group, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Roll20, Tabletop Loot, So Nerdware, and Devon Rue for sponsoring and supporting us. For folks who want to help support the overall operations here and maybe give the players a little bit of a boost, get some emotes, and maybe even help the DM cause havoc. Help the DM cause havoc. Feel free to contribute to our Patreon. It helps, like we said, support bulk of operations here, and subs and bits give the players a little bit of extra bits, extra little goodies to work with, as well as me. But if you're interested in becoming a part of our wild, absurd community, feel free to join our Discord as well. We have amazing conversations. We have ridiculous conversations. We have feelsy and queer conversations. And then we have those conversations that are all of those things at once, or just do roller coasters with us. So feel free to join our Discord. And so we are going to get into this homebrew journey once again, as we left off on a rather tense climactic moment for the party. But before we can continue, we have to know who our party actually is. So let's start off with our most fantastic, softest, happiest, sweetest tall boy, Lapu, otherwise known played by Gemma.
Hello, I'm Gemma. I go by Kupo Knight everywhere else, and I will be playing Lapu, the party's Furbolg monk.
Huzzah! And next, our tanky, newly recruited mage of the wilds, overall sweetheart and part of the party, perhaps as well. Bo, otherwise known as Lily.
Hello, I am Lily and I play Bo, who is a wild hunt shifter, mostly barbarian, little bit of druid now.
Just for that extra thunder wave blasting feel for
Exactly.
when you need. And last but not least for this last but not least joining us for this evening, unfortunately without a camera, we're still working on that, but our fantastic fiend bardlock boy, Ant.
Hello, I'm Anthony, and I'm making faces at chat right now, but you can't see it. I'm playing Paya, Hobgoblin, mostly Warlock, little bit Bard, to quote Lily. And I'm happy to be here.
And unfortunately, as is evidenced by only the one short in camera that we have tonight, our trolling, staff eating, and always fantastic lore hobgoblin lore wizard PD, otherwise known by our played by our wonderful Mariam, is not going to be here this weekend, but we'll be back for the final episode that we stream for this season, because wonderful viewers, we are, as a group, we've had a lot of schedule things come up, and this will be one of our last 2 sessions that we have as a group on stream. Wherever this journey goes after this point, whether a home game, maybe another channel if we stream, if the group wants to do that, I don't know. But likely, whatever happens after this point, you'll see us for 2 more sessions, this being one of them. So, Mariam will be there. We'll have the whole crew for that one in December. But before we get to the end, let's get to the point before the end. And let's do a quick recap of where we're at. The party, having started off the previous session in a dark tunnel, fungi near radiant bioluminescent fungi near them, statues of individuals whose expressions seem startled and made of stone, encountered a curious figure, an individual with snake-like hair who seemed to cover up her face with cloth, who gave the name Camilla. The party came here to investigate and ask questions about the disappearances. What was that? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought I heard something. That was my bad. The party took the time to come to speak with Camilla to investigate the recent disturbances in the mounds, and as nearby and the growing activity of a cult which they have increasingly been gaining information on. While speaking with Camilla, the party each in turn received an almost portent of things to come, premonition of the past that their journey might take for them. And these were met with varying degrees of worry, concern, and surprise. But ultimately, the party was joined also by we'll call her a friend of Camilla, even though I'm sure other people know she is something more. Even Camilla expresses that, by the name of Beatrice Arzabe, a paladin, who came to help provide support for the party. Well, for Camilla first, and to check in on her with her premonitions causing her quite a bit of strain on her body. The group, however, suddenly realized that there were noises coming down from the entrance to the tunnel way far back, and they heard the sounds of hyena-like creatures approaching, calling for Camilla. The party exited and engaged in a struggle that was initiated by our bard Fiendluck nearly self-immolating in the process. That was interesting. As a gambit, the DM quite really did not know what to do for a couple seconds, because no one ever expects the self-fireball. But following that, the party quickly dealt with the scout patrol that had been sent, and were also attacked by the monstrous Null creation, all of whom seemed to be wielding magic of a fiendish variety not unlike Baya's. As the party managed to successfully slay the creature before it took all of them out, and nearly felling, I believe, our poor Furbolg monk, who took a couple of crits, I think, or at least a lot of damage from the creature. The party took a moment after receiving Beatrice's aid and turned to look out towards the camps that they had previously been at. Of the ranges of Rudra now being under attack by what at first from the distance appeared to be one, but was now several floating brain-like creatures with large bird-like beaks and long tentacled-like tendrils with barbs at the end of them. And that is where we pick up in the midst of post-battle, the group very hurt, but seeing that the camps that had been so kind to them are now under attack. So, players, as I typically ask you all as your DM, what would you like to do?
As much as I want to help them, a break would be nice. A little rest and respite would be quite lovely right now.
I turn to Beatrice and I say, Beatrice, do you know anything about that, as I point? And then with my next breath, I turn to the rest of my party and say, and do any of you have any spare words left?
I forgot the DD. As a note for any viewers who are
That's
tuning
right.
in for the first time, our lore wizard has a variety of joke spell books, one of which allows them to cast a variation of mass healing word as a set of link sausages that can be consumed for the same effect. I think you all, I'm going to say, because I can't remember off the top of my head, I think you all have at least one. I think a bunch of them were given to you, Baya, but if you haven't consumed them yet, you have, yeah, we'll say that's what the case is. I think you have like...
I know I consumed one and I gave 5 to the rest of the party, and now I'm turning to the rest of the party and say, I'm filled with regret. Did any of you not eat the one that I gave to you?
Yeah, I haven't eaten any, and you are welcome to it.
Yeah, I am more dying than I thought, and I did not know what that is. Beatrice, what is that? And I will eat another worst.
Okay, feel free to roll up 1d4 plus 5, because that is the effect. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, it's 1d4 plus 5. Let me double check the spell so I make sure you're getting the right amount of healing, because that is the thing.
If it is 1d4 plus 5, I need to re-roll the last time I rolled, because the last time I rolled 1d6. Oof. Okay.
No, keep the previous healing. If I made the mistake, you get the benefits of me making the mistake.
Okay. Cool.
But you also got max healing on that one, so that makes up for it.
Nice.
There we go. But yes, Beatrice just sort of turns to you and she says, "That I have no idea what that is. All I know is that it's not good, and that oh no." And you can all see from this distance. You don't even need to make a check or anything. There are arrows being loosed and fired at these creatures. There's maybe about currently a half dozen of them, as well as what appear to be like there it is very bad. Like the camp is under attack, and it looks like for right now they might be holding off the creatures, but it's you're seeing individuals in the distance, even as far out as you are. Certain folks who you met or passed by in the camps the previous day, there's an individual being picked up by these long spiny barbs that are just they look like they're entirely frozen in place, and this flying brain creature is just opening up its massive beak and it's about to just pierce through the person, and it's bad. It's really bad at this moment.
Can you do anything, Beatrice? You weren't too
Yeah.
involved in the last fight. I don't know how much of your divine energy you utilized, but I am tapped.
I can offer some help, I think, and if we can maybe deal with some of the leaders, perhaps we can keep the attack down. I've only heard accounts that they've been attacking other locations with small groups with one or two people leading them. That's the most information that I have. But damn it. I don't know what the best options here are.
Okay. How are you two doing? And I look at Bo and Jem. And what about you, sister? And I look at Dee Dee as well.
I mean, that is, I'm not really ever one to back down from a fight, but that is kind of intimidating, especially considering we just went through. And yeah, I don't know if I want to just run headlong into this in the condition that I am in and the rest of the party.
How much do you feel we owe them? Do you want me to try to ask my patron for some sort of Hail Mary, or do you think we should hold off on something like that?
I mean, that would, like, how comfortable do you feel doing that? Is that something you want to do?
You heard the snake lady. Like, this is going downhill, and I'm not going to be able to. I'd like to meet my end on terms of my own choosing. And if you all think that this is particularly urgent, I'm amenable to doing that. I've talked to Monkey before. Doesn't typically end with things going too pear-shaped. For me. It tends to end with a lot of other people being inconvenienced.
Right.
I just don't think Dee Dee would like you to put yourself in danger.
Oh, that's a good point. What do you think, Dee Dee?
I'm not really comfortable with that idea. Dee Dee?
I will do Dee Dee if my players would like to jokingly tease me into doing so, but Dee Dee will look, brother, I don't know if this is the best way to go about this. I am spent on everything, and I kind of got hurt in that last fight. That doesn't usually happen, and I'm normally okay. But I have almost nothing left in terms of preparations. If the most I could do is shame them, but that is about it. Out of character mechanically, Dee Dee is out of all spell slots. Dee Dee's got cantrips. they're still effective because cantrips are still pretty good, but
Right.
But still, like, I wouldn't go into a fight
Right.
based on that.
I'm gonna quickly send my familiar. I'm gonna snap my fingers and summon my familiar within 60 feet, and I'm gonna send the little sprite off with the intent specifically of seeing if this creature has eyes. And as soon as the sprite is close enough to determine whether or not they have eyes, I would like it to just stop.
okay. So do me two things. I want you to
Sure.
roll me two things. One, perception to get a general sense of what the sprite's able to pick up from on the chaos in the camps, and two, stealth to see how well they're able to get through the area without being spotted.
I still don't have a sprite character sheet, so I'm just using my perception and my stealth.
Okay.
If that's
They
okay
get
with
their
you.
own stats.
Yeah, the sprite has its separate stats,
Oh, that's neat.
but I don't have a sheet for that. I only have Paya.
Okay.
Says the newbie D&D player. Oh, they get their own stats.
So this is by I'll tell you this is what happens, and this is what you see.
Okay.
You pick up certain details. This will happen no matter what. It just was passive because the sprite, even with the passive at 10, just it's hard not to notice certain things. You don't get that much more details beyond this. Right now, it's hard to tell how well the battle is going. It looks like the majority of the force is being held back so far by the Rangers, but it's looking like in certain moments, like whereas one of these flying brain creatures looks like it goes in, it slowly hovers down and picks one up. The rest of them fire arrows and manage to pierce it. But while a few of them are trying to focus down one, another two of them just float down and pick up another set. But that's not the only thing that the sprite sees. It sees another set of creatures running in and around the camps.
Ah,
It sees, let me pull up my reference image so I can describe this. It's strange. They look fairly humanoid, lithe and thin with long, almost kind of reptilian like tails, but the body is mostly human and the head is goat. It's just a goat head with long curved back horns, and it looks like it's wielding a long spear and around its neck it almost looks like it has like a furred collar to it. Okay. And there's just the sprite, even just being within around 30 feet of these things, which is it's far away enough that they don't seem to pick up on the sprite, but the sprite feels this aura, this sickness of rot beginning to take hold of its body. But right now it's hard to tell what the state of the battle is because you rolled so poor in perception. You can't tell whether it's going well or fine for them. You do hear, and the sprite, as it's going along and trying to just dart its way among all of this, you do hear a voice going, "Come on!" And you see an orc charging at a few, like 3 of these goat-headed creatures by himself, wielding 2 long short swords. It's Corbin, who you met earlier, who is running at them, fighting, and looks like he's doing a pretty goddamn good job, but you start the sprite just as a passing glimpse, you see it almost looks like when the creatures manage to hit them with their tails, it's like boils and pus begin building up all over where the points hit Corbin, but he's shaking it off, but he's taking 3 on by himself. It's pretty intense, but
okay, mentally I order the sprite to just engage in combat and take the help action with Corbin whenever possible. Okay. I disconnect from whatever the sprite's going through, and I say, okay, one, my familiar is probably going to die in a few seconds, but 2, this is what I saw, and I describe that there's more than the giant flying brain tentacle things. I think, I mean, I don't know how many of them can see, but I think if we actually want to stop all this, the best bet is just to have is basically to have our friend go and show her face and see how many of them we can get with petrification that we can undo later. And that's probably going to have massive collateral, and it might not work. The other idea is if there's a way to get out of this tunnel from the back, I vote we just collapse the front so that it looks like those that came after us failed, but also still caused the cave to collapse. If we can make it look like that, and that way we can at least stave off pursuers toward here. But it's your call on what you want to do. Those are the two options I see. They're definitely not the only two, but we need to do something. And in the relaying, I also described, I saw Corbin fighting, and that's why my sprite is probably going to pass soon.
Yeah, I mean, is there any way that the petrification could be helpful? Because
well, we'll yell.
feel like-
Presumably, everybody who doesn't
No,
know is going to look, and then a bunch
right,
of
but
people
that's
are going to petrify.
right. I mean, I think the thing is is it actually going to work on our enemies as well? Because we don't
We
want
don't
to.
know.
Yeah.
That's what it's like to make a call, I suppose. I mean, it's not a
Yeah.
choice unless there's really terrible consequences. It's something I've learned over the course of this journey.
You feel for a second, you feel the pulse of your familiar.
Uh-huh.
The connection you have to the familiar is gone.
My familiar's gone. I don't know what's going on with Corbin anymore.
Okay.
Make a call, gang.
Just as a note from your DM, this is no trickery or anything involved. Based off the low perception roll, mechanically out of game and in game, you don't know what the tide of the battle is right now.
Right.
Because it seemed like it could be going either way, but that's mainly because the roll was so low. So you don't know. I just want to make that clear.
Right.
What was the Medusa's name again? I don't have it in my notes.
Camilla.
Thank you.
I think we got to ask Camilla to jump in here because
Beatrice, do you think there's a way to ask Camilla without further traumatizing or hurting her about this? Because that's the biggest whammy we have.
See her take her hands, clasp them together, and she puts one of them around the holy symbol, just fiddling with it just a little bit, just to keep herself steady. And it's almost to the point where I think Lapu and Bo, especially, you have good passive perception. Like you can almost see red from how tightly her hands are gripping onto the symbol. Like she's that tense. But she says, I think it goes against my vows to invoke violence needlessly. I saw the creature about to hurt all of you, and I did what was needed, and I don't want to do more. But I do not want to see innocent life and blood spilled and lost. Let's go back to the cave. I will see what I can do. There might be something else we can make use of here if I can convince her it's worth it. If you can convince her that this is worth it.
We'll try.
I follow, I suppose.
So you descend back into the tunnel, and you see this time, instead of just random patches of fungi, you see the whole sides of the tunnel are almost lined, almost like at attention, various heights, shapes, and forms of those mushroom and fungal humanoids that you saw standing near Camilla before. And as you reach the sort of moonlight tomb that you previously were speaking in the same room with Camilla with, she emerges and she says, "Is it safe? May I exit? Or is there something else?"
It's not safe, Camilla, but I think with your help, it's not looking good out there. With your help, I think we can make it. We can make it so. But it's up to you. I look at Beatrice to kind of like help elaborate instead of like,
It's like get in on this kind of vibe, I'm guessing. Beatrice chimes in and says, "Any friends we might have in the camps might be lost soon if we don't do something. And I think you might have to ask them to help if they're willing to sacrifice." And Camilla, like, you can't see her face, but you do see the tilt of her head as it looks downward, cloth covering the eyes. And you see her just sort of gets her face lowers, she looks down, and you see her then take a moment and scan around the room, and you notice her eyes seem where her eyes might be. They're scanning the walls, and she's looking at the various fungal creatures that are around you. If they do this, they may not grow back for a long time. Is this worth the loss for many who could simply see me as a monster again if I do anything, if I leave this place? Zori just turns in the direction of the party and sort of waits for an answer.
What's being proposed precisely? What are they going to do?
You she takes him. You hear Camilla taking a deep breath, and it's strange hearing her do so because it's almost like all of the snakes that compose her hair also take in a breath with her as well. So it's almost like a very faint little mini snake like echoes are happening. So it's like they are willing to fight. They are my friends, or at least companions. They were here for me when others weren't, and they protect what they can.
I look at Beatrice and I'm like, are they strong enough to turn the tides?
The Myconid are not strong, as perhaps you or your friend over there, and she sort of gestures towards Bo, who outside of Beatrice is the most like physically imposing of the entire group around. But they are many, and they have properties which may prevent them from suffering the worst of what those creatures can do. I cannot promise a win. None of us can. Nor do I think there will be any win in this with the life that could be lost. But it is an option we have.
Yeah, everything I've learned from tactics from my time in the cult tells me let's just cut our let's just is there a back exit? That was something I was curious about.
No. She at most has a small cubby hole that she just hides in when she needs space away even from Beatrice.
Everything I've learned tells me we should make a run for it. But you three have a saving people thing. But these, I mean, I don't know what strengths these have. I've never dealt with mechanids in my life.
I mean, it seems like this is our only way out right now, since there's no other exit.
Well, we can go the opposite direction from camp, like right now.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. I do think we are kind of overmatched, but if the Myconids are willing to help, I just don't feel good about just leaving.
But they're not. They're being volunteered by. I'm gonna pull my group into a huddle a little bit away from everybody, and I'm gonna just give them like a give us a moment sort of thing. Gesture and say, I'm not sure they are. We're tasked with convincing Camilla to convince them to fight. And she doesn't even seem to think that they'll necessarily quote unquote grow back. If she doesn't have faith in their ability. What?
That's technically not what she said. She said they won't grow back for a while.
Oh, okay.
It's a matter of they will live again, but you're sort of the way, think of it this way. She's framing it in her mind, according to what she has said, as you're asking her to ask friends who've been there, or at least companions who've provided her support, to offer to give up their safety for the sake of people who, in Camilla's eyes, which no one has challenged her view on, for people who might just see her as a monster again. Not that she thinks anyone in the camp that she knows right now does, but it's what she's afraid of.
Okay.
That's the sort of points you have to work off of as a group. Camilla is scared that that the end point of this will just be she's saving people who will just be scared of her again.
Well, okay. So yeah, it's not that they're willing to help. It's that we're convincing Camilla to help them help us fight an enemy we don't know for friends we just made like yesterday. Like it would be different if they're like, we are going to do a heroic suicide charge with or without you, right? Because then we would be abandoning them to their fates if we left. I'm proposing leaving in the hopes of saving who we can save.
Maybe we don't have to fight. We can just go in and just help everyone run, depending on the situation. Like, we don't know how the battle is. Your sprite passed.
Okay.
But
that is a plan. But we don't have horses. We don't have carts. We don't have anything that would help anybody move faster. I don't even know the camp well enough to help them with evacuation. I can just go there and yell, run for your lives. And that's about all I can provide because I don't have spells. If I had spells, I could at least distract. Like, I actually like that plan. It's just I don't know how to do it. Without, again, sort of
Right.
asking my patron for some help from below, as it were.
Right. How far did we travel to this cave
You
from?
you traveled quite a bit. You saw this in the distance, but you think, given the camps tend to move and how far you've seen it away, maybe an hour you could make it in. It's still a bit of ways,
Right.
but again, these camps move around all the time, and in the time you've been gone, you know that this kind of group tends to roam around, so it's probably a lot closer than it was before. But hard to gauge. Maybe an hour
Right.
max. So you could make it there and perhaps get involved before the whole thing goes terribly. But you don't know.
I do think if we make a call, I want to go all in on something. If we're potentially
Right.
doing a suicide run, I want to query patron to help. If we're potentially running, I want to run right now and with everybody here. I don't want to commit halfway.
Right. Bo really doesn't want to back down from this fight, but also she does see like that it's probably the one time that maybe like running headlong into a battle is not necessarily the best idea.
How have you survived this law as a mercenary before you had a group? Like, did you just run into things and win? Like, because you were
Well,
solo before.
No, she was as part of she was a soldier. She was part of a group of battalion. Lily
Okay.
doesn't know soldier words, but
Okay.
like she was never alone. That was the thing, right? Like she always had like a whole crew behind her.
Do you have any like military knowledge of like camp arrangements or like evacuation procedures? Like anything?
I mean, maybe
You could roll.
Bo does. That would
You could roll a
be like
history check. I'd
a
say with
roll,
advantage, given your
sure.
background.
Okay.
I am also, like, full disclosure, lacking in the particular vocabulary around that, but I am able to give you something depending on what you roll. Okay, a crit. You would know the best. I'll say this: the effect of this roll is that you would know the best way to evacuate folks with, how should we put this? Just the right amount of panic, like getting them to be excited, to be knowing how to corral them in the correct kind of way if you wanted to go for a run, or if you wanted to try and make use of the best way of how to reorganize them, because it seems like from the scant bit that Bias Sprite was able to see, there a lot of them are decent fighters.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
could go either direction, but either way, whichever path you pick, you know that you could do it competently and perhaps even turn the tide with how well you rolled on that. That is what I will give you, is that whatever
Okay.
decision you make will be extremely effective.
Okay. So I think, yeah, like again, as much as Bo wants to fight at this point, she is thinking that getting these people to safety, if however possible, is probably the best plan right now. So if there's a way that we could get them away and not necessarily take on these creatures, that's what she is suggesting we try.
Yeah. What is there such a suggestion? Because that was a lot of ifs, and I don't know. Like, does a suggestion come out or?
I think the takeaway is if you're gonna does Bo think it's best to just go back, get as many people as you can, and organize them as quickly as possible to get out? Is that sort of the takeaway you're shooting for?
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
That's I think the takeaway that Bo's shooting for. Also, for all of you, uh, recover 7 hit points
Ooh.
each, because you hear, as you've been having this conversation, Beatrice and Camilla have been taking their time, but I'll say, Bo, you noticed this first. Camilla's been putting her hands around a symbol of sort of a crescent moon with a gleaming sword hanging off of it, and cast mass healing word at just a high enough level that all of you can get 7 hit points back. And Beatrice approaches. The Myconid will fight, or will help you, whatever you decide to do. I can heal you some amount. Camilla has some level of healing. If a fight is what you want, I will stand by you and I will help you as best I can. I have some healing available to me for any of you who are extremely hurt. I will heal you up as best I can. But we need to make a decision soon.
Well, right now it seems we're not so much as wanting to fight, but going in to support and hopefully help people escape what's going on there right now. So if your friends are still willing to help in that capacity instead of helping perhaps sacrifice themselves, then we would gladly take them as help.
All right. And Beatrice goes to the side just for a moment more with Camilla, leads her over and speaks with her. And I would say, Bo, because you have the highest passive perception, you notice Beatrice also clutches onto her symbol for just a moment, and she speaks a word. She speaks just a few words in Camilla's ear. But from what you're able to pick up, it almost feels like words spoken of the divine. It's almost like the actual like vibrations of sound that echo out carry with it almost this beautiful light blue glow of moonlight. And Camilla steps forward to all of you. My friends will fight with you or help you. And I shall as well. If you will have me.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Know how you feel about this power you have, and we thank you for helping.
She walks forward shakily, but she takes off uh, the cloth from her eyes. She doesn't look at any of you, but she looks out in the direction of the Myconid and she raises her arms. Friends, let's do what we can. Let's help them. And you see, just very slowly, like if you've ever seen a lot of depictions in film where you see like cells like dividing and slowly like growing and budding and then splitting apart and growing and budding, you see that kind of effect with all of the fungal growths all across the walls. They just start spreading. Hello, Car. They just start spreading out and slowly almost sprouting like little seedlings just firing off into the ground, and just different sized fungal humanoids, each with different structures and styles and designs of carapace like armor. Some of them quite small, and some of them as tall as the leader blue fungal, almost like double jointed werewolf-like foot fungal humanoid who seems to be almost like a leader of the whole group. And Camilla begins marching forward the tunnel.
Well, like I said, if we're going to walk into danger, I want to do this. I want to go all in. So, well, sister, since we have this saving people thing, give me a moment alone with a mirror. And I'm going to pull out my steel mirror and see and look into it. Because, this entire campaign I've been avoiding reflections, except when I want to talk to him. Her, them.
It's all of them are kind of in a way appropriate.
Yep.
It depends on the face. And the face you see looking back at you in this moment is the young tiefling girl that you encountered back in Avis. Hi there.
I thought I managed to look away in time, monkey. Good to see you.
You seem upset. Did I make you mad again?
We have a situation. I'm willing to do a contract. You've heard the pertinent details.
Hmm. I have, but what do I get out of it? I mean, I have you.
Not everybody's going to be able to escape. Those that don't, I'll count them among acceptable targets. The enemies, I don't think you've seen before. So they have an appearance that is new to you. You have?
Mm-hmm.
I see. And like at this, Paya is genuinely deflated because that's a bargaining chip.
I trust the Bulazao have probably rotted some of those, what were they called, rangers? And I'm sure the Grell are enjoying themselves as well. Druids are rather useful things to have at times, aren't they?
Still facing the mirror, I just shout out at the group. Grell and Blue Lazao are what we're facing, if that means anything to the rest of you.
Arcana or religion check to anyone who wants to roll for that. Dee is probably going to pass this because Dee has God tier on both, but we'll see. Yeah, I was not wrong, and that's Dee's. Both.
Yeah.
No idea what the fuck these things are.
Nope,
And
not at all.
Apu, if you want to try and do either Arcana or religion. I'd say those are the two closest. Maybe I would allow nature too. It's just stretching it, but I'd allow that as well. I know none of those are particularly strong skills on your end, but still, I would let you.
Wait, what are you allowing?
Arcana, nature, or religion. Those are the three that I would allow.
Oh, I'm actually pretty good in nature.
I guess I should try religion, maybe.
You never know. I mean, Dee is going to give you a ton of information no matter what.
Right. Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, so close. So close. So Dee is able to impart to you through very hurried, like pulling out the end of the spell book and notes that go back from what you can see, probably sometime, maybe even like first few weeks of undergrad equivalent time, like orientation training levels of like intro level courses. Abu Lazao is essentially, it's a fiend. It is a creature whose main design is essentially its infection. It has a presence literally known as a rotting presence that slowly begins to inflict necrotic damage on anything within 30 feet of it. And anything that it's able to actually hit with that spear becomes diseased in a way that if it were to knock out the creature would be permanently killed by the actual disease itself. That is a Bulazao. They are quite nasty, but they really don't have too much outside of the just general melee attacks. They just tend to get around quick because they're a little speedier than some of the things you fought. The Grell, on the other hand, are a little bit of a different matter. The Grell are aberrations of the far plane. These are creatures who have pretty much one MO. They use the tentacles to grab something, and if the tendrils are a lot, the sickness that's imparted by them hits a creature and affects it, it paralyzes the creature and then it beaks it. That is the kind of information you get of those creatures. But yeah, that will cover it. It's strange. These are the kind of things that wouldn't be seen outside of either the hells or a spot from the far plane itself. Like, these are not common creatures that just show up in Agni in any capacity. It would suggest they were either likely summoned, or these are a facsimile of these creatures. Like something is channeling the essence of those creatures in some capacity.
Well, they definitely don't seem like anything that we are prepared to take on right now.
I will add one detail though. Let me just double check this if I have this right. The Grells can have, I'll say effectively, you're able to know this from DD's communications, immune to lightning and have blind sight 60 feet around them, but beyond that, they can't see. So that was a detail you might have picked up earlier if you'd rolled higher, Baya, is that they seem to have only been targeting groups at a time because those are the only things they could see. Beyond that scope, they don't know what's there.
All right. Luzhouse and Grills.
Yeah, it's Buleza.
I do this on purpose.
No, I know you do. I'm aware that you do. I try and say something correctly, and then the spelling makes it sound like I can't talk. I love you, Ant. But also, your patron's still talking to you, Baya.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's on purpose that our cult prevents those of us that are in this position from knowing what a pact is supposed to be like. But my group wants this done, and I cannot help. I am out of more or less all of your magic, and I have a little bit of musical trickery left.
Would you like it back?
At what cost?
Oh, I just need you to go somewhere for me.
Done. Please.
Wonderful. So nice when they do what they're told. And it's unnerving because you see the tiefling girl's face, which when you met her was, if maybe a little quiet at times, was also full of life and joy, just sort of extend into a wide smile that you see these kind of like ape-like canines and teeth just sort of grinning back at you, and there's just this massive like furry head there that just starts to overtake the horns that were once present and blunted.
Now that I know that there's other people that you've chosen besides me, just a bit of advice. This is the bit that makes people say no. This bit. You need to get better at this part of the job, to quote a certain rapper in real life.
Ant. God damn it, Ant. I hate it when you do this, because then I start losing composure and I don't know where to get my thoughts together again. Bastard. But the patron just smiles and just says, well, you already agreed to go where I need you to go. Why do I care what you think past this point? You've already agreed.
The magic monkey.
Always so whiny, so needy. And you just feel like this. It's less of a hand and more of a massive paw presence on your shoulder.
Oof.
Just press down. And I know Baya is not a particularly strong person, so it doesn't need to be that much, but it feels like a massive ape's paws just pressing it down, and you feel all of your spell slots return,
Thank you.
and
Monkey.
you get half of your health back. Feel free to round up.
I'm good to go, guys.
So
We
What
do,
what did this look like
we
to
hear?
us?
I'm
Yeah.
talking to a mirror.
What does it look like? And like, do we hear Baya like just say yes, or do we like even hear the conversation, or his like if we agree, like his quick agreement, like ooh, dice.
Oh,
I couldn't even tell that there were dice happening. I just saw arms flailing.
Oh, that's true.
you hear Baya say yes. That's all you hear. That's the
Okay.
only part of the conversation you hear.
I didn't even say yes. I said done.
Or you hear that
Or
part.
done.
done.
The,
Okay.
the meaning, semantic aside, meaning was conveyed. The point is, the whole party heard the done part.
And that was it.
That was the only part.
Okay. But we saw him talking to a mirror, though. We saw that part of it.
You did see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, never mind. I'm gonna ignore that in the chat. If mods could get on that one real quick. I'll put it to you this way. Baya does look like he recoiled a little bit. Like he looked to you, the moment where Baya feels the like ape's paw just press down on his shoulder, all of you just see Baya kind of visibly just sort of sink a little bit. But you also see just faint glow of red, and you smell all of a sudden, just for a brief moment, peaches and an irony stench that smells like blood. It's very brief. It's almost one of those points of like, that was weird. I could have like when you pass by someone and you're like, oh, was that like one of those kind of moments? That's how quickly it passed by. But you have your spell slots all back, and let me see. Let me roll something else real quick. Ah, there we go. Yes, Lapu. Oh, you have a greater healing potion in front of both of you.
Is it just floating in front of us? Or?
No, it's like it's like as you turn, as you're like, oh, that was weird. That smell was off. You just see, just appear, and then you just smell peaches and blood, and then they just appear in front of you.
Oh, okay.
Is this a sort of smell that's so distinct that they perfectly recognize it, even if it's not a smell you see daily, or is it like is it magically enforced in their brain? This is peach. This is blood, motherfucker. Or is it like?
No, it's just like peach is not an uncommon smell.
Okay.
It's just it's just suddenly like, why the fuck do I smell peaches, and why do I smell blood? And
Gotcha.
also Dee Baya, I'll say Dee looks at you with a very knowing look, because they've seen you summon something before, so they know that smell more than anyone in the party besides you.
What is that? Is that peaches?
I turn, since I've been looking away. Are these potions new to me as well? Like they're not something I expected, right?
Nope. You just hear the patron, just as you're like turning away from the mirror, the last thing you hear the patron say is, gift to keep you well and safe. Need you alive. And then just disappears.
Gifts courtesy of patron, if you guys want it. Let's do this stupid evacuation thing. I leave the cave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beatrice and Camilla have gone forward, and you're outside the cave. I would like everyone to make a perception check.
2,
Bo, you see ahead that in the distance there's a group of some of the rangers. A contingent being led by Tatiana, the Centaur Ranger that you encountered previously,
Mhm.
just gunning it across some of the plains. It looks like they're all pretty hurt, but they're alive. And it looks like one of these Bulazao creatures is just trying to chase after them. And it looks like farther off in the distance, you can see that some of the brain creatures the grells are starting to like float away, and they look bloodied and like they're just retreating. But you can also see, even from this distance, there's bodies of some of the rangers.
Okay.
But you can tell Tatiana's group is maybe heading somewhere in this direction, but it's right now they're being pursued, and it's looking like it's going to be bad. Like, for whatever you can see from the camp from this distance, the fights, it's doing this just back and forth between
Mhm.
the two sides. You'll see arrows flying off. You'll see a crossbow aimed, and it breaks off a section of one of their beaks, and the person will like try and cheer for a second, and then you'll just see a Bulazao just jump up behind it and stab them right through the shoulder.
Oh,
Ouch. Okay.
I shout
Yeah.
back, Camilla, do the blindfold again. We have allies
Yes.
coming in.
Mhm.
Okay. Camilla drops, carries forward, and you see her, but she put back on the blindfold once more, but you see her pull out a flute. This seems to have been carved from the actual fungi deposits, and she blows it. She just plays this very short little tune on it, and suddenly there's dozens of myconids that just are summoned out of the ground, and they immediately start heading towards the direction of the camp. And Beatrice turns to all of you. What's the call? I will do what you need me to do in this moment. Do you want me to go help them? Do you want me to help Tatiana? What's the call?
Let's focus on the contingent. Get the
Yeah.
contingent away from the chasing group. And then once we have that, we can do a skirmish for the main camp again. See if there are any survivors.
All right. And she pulls out the gleaming longsword that she has, and she just charges ahead. Camilla also goes off to lead the myconid on and says, I will do what I can to help the camp in the meantime. Do what you must to ensure Tatiana is safe. Let me hope that I am not a monster, at least for today. At least to these people. And she takes off the blindfold. She charges out.
Before she does, if I can just quickly sort of reach out.
Mhm.
I don't even know what I'm doing here. Just to sort of like tap her, and I'll say, if it's a choice between petrifying them or watching them die, we can preserve the stone better than we can preserve life. If you have to. Remember that.
Yes, I will do what I must. And what I can. She charges off with the myconid, and it's just like an army of fungal humanoids just like running by her side.
Well, in for a penny, in for a pound. In for a copper piece, in for a gold piece. Let's go after the centaur and the rangers, see who can save. I'm gonna head off in that direction.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna follow Baya.
Which I guess is still the camp's direction, right? It's just
Right.
You're still heading it.
Right.
It's just which contingent is closer to you
Right.
versus the one. Like, you'll still be able to head to the camp right afterwards.
So are we doing that awkward thing where Camilla was like, I will do what I must, and then we just all leave in the same direction?
It's a little bit afterwards, because after she says that, with you figuring out and like seeing the contingent,
Okay.
they start veering off into a direction will avoid the awkward heading in the same direction thing. Let's just for the sake of narrative sustainability, let's just do that. Let's just have that be.
Okay.
Where is Beatrice still with us?
Beatrice is staying with you. If you're asking her to help the contingent, she will stay with you to fight. So you have another ally on your in your party right now, willing to help you.
Yeah, I think we should keep Beatrice with us.
Keep the paladin with the aura of protection with you.
Yeah.
Also, she will ask, I have some bits of healing, and I can perhaps bolster your health a little bit more. It is the last of the strongest magic that I have.
Use it if we fall.
Yeah.
Or
I
if-
think hold on to it for now.
Or if any of them fall, and I point to like the crowd that's coming towards us.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Mhm.
Let us go.
Let's go kill some grills and blue sows.
So the whole group is heading out that direction to help the contingent?
Yeah.
All right. You start heading out, and the party, I believe you can all see the map that I have you on right now. If you wouldn't mind putting yourselves on the southernmost portion of it, because what you see when you arrive, the contingent just coasts by you, and they look. It's Tatiana. It's the two of the rangers who helped you all escape from the Chimera and the Manticore the previous day. I think it was a shifter and a tabaxi who were with you. They're all bloodied. They all look like they've had like barbs sticking into their skin, and some of the fur is matted with blood and such. But they're alive, but they look like they're barely holding on. And you see coming up in the distance two individuals, not a Grell or a Bulazau, but two humanoid figures. What are you doing here? Are you interrupting our work? We just needed to fetch a few more. If you'd kindly let us get the rest.
Alpharens, please shoot them, and I would like to cast Fairy Fire. Fairy Fire should allow me to center on the middle square of both of them.
Okay.
And let's pull up Fairy Fire if my thing will cooperate. And that's actually using my last Bard spell, so I still have my two
Warlock
spells.
Yeah, while Baya's doing that, I just yell out, "Who are you and collecting what?"
People. The Ascension approaches. But you won't be alive for that. And but they finish saying that in response to you, and then the Fairy Fire tries to hit them. Mm-hmm. They both, I am not even joking, they only have a +1 to Dex, and they both rolled 16.
Okay, they succeed.
Okay, let's double 16s on that. So they succeed, and you watch Bo.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard, because I think you had rolled on a previous session about druids, like some baseline knowledge about them.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of druids who take on the shape of beasts and other creatures.
Yep.
But this is not something that you expect or have ever heard of happening with a druid, because as both of the individuals, one a very pale-skinned half-elf with a bit of a like mocking kind of smirk, and the other a very tall, long, ponytailed, blonde-haired woman with also a similar pale complexion. You see both of their forms start shifting. And you see one take on the form
Oh God,
described as
what the hell is that?
What?
You see them both take on the form of the creatures that Dee Dee described earlier. One, a floating brain-like creature with tendrils ending in spiked barbs, and the other, a goat-headed demonic-like creature. Fiendish, rather.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to tell Alpharenz and Martin to shoot them and to leave if we fall or
I
something.
don't think they're with you anymore because I think you left them behind in Shantico. It's been a long time since you've actually checked in on them.
Oh, okay. So they left back then?
I think because you left them behind. You said because they didn't.
No,
really...
I said you can choose to leave or not, and then we
right.
ended a session there. And I don't know if
Yeah, I think they would have chosen at that point if you didn't.
Okay.
I said that out of habit. They're not here, guys.
You can also retcon it so that they're not
Right.
present as well too. But
It's fine. I had nothing left to pay them, so I was literally like, if you want to follow me out of goodwill, feel free. If you want to leave, no hard feelings. If they left, that's fine.
Yeah. But yeah. What I'm gonna say, y'all, is that I need everyone, one, to roll initiative, and two, because we are going to get into a combat right now, I think this is actually a better time for us to take an early break, if that's okay with everyone. That way the combat isn't just, we get a round and then, oh, sorry, we have to go to a break, just so it flows a little bit more smoothly. I think this is a nice capping point of seeing two what appear to be druids wild shape into an aberration and a fiend.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good point to just leave for a good break. So so everyone, if you can, don't forget to click your token and then do initiative.
Why is Bo's initiative so low?
And why is Dee Dee's initiative so high? I don't.
That doesn't seem
Do they
right.
have a +5?
Who? Dee Dee?
Yeah.
Yeah, it rolled.
Dee Dee uses intelligence for initiative because of their particular.
Oh, okay.
That's why. I was like, how do
yeah.
they have that? I have Dex
Yeah,
and
it's like,
such low AC.
why is my sibling so much faster than I am on the uptake? And it's like, well, it's because your sibling is using intelligence. Also, this knight will be standing in for Beatrice, who I'm going to give round initiative count 10. The only one missing, well, the two missing as I get out my sheet, because I am a prepared dungeon master and I am not flying by the seat of my pants in any way, shape, or form. That is how I am doing things. But we'll say that one is that.
This one with all the tentacles and such, is it like levitating? Is it
It's
walking on the
very
ground?
faintly off the ground.
Okay, so it's not on the ground.
However, it did also, I decided it has the lowest initiative of 3. So.
Wee.
Oh, you picked that one. Oh, I'm going to love that.
What?
You have your elemental discipline.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the only one who's missing on the board is, so that's 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6. We should have 7 in there. Lapu's missing, and Baya, did you roll initiative?
I should have. Did it not
there
take?
It is. Yeah, no, it did take. That was my bad. Yeah, Lapu, you're the only one who's not
rolled in chat, but I think it didn't show
I will
up.
add. What is the number?
It's a 9.
Oh, yeah, you're probably going first.
No, Lapu's initiative is actually elemental discipline, Gong of the Summit.
Yeah, that is my initiative.
Lapu transcends numbers.
Yeah.
Nope. I accidentally added Lapu 3 times. Lapu, you are not getting 3 turns in a row.
Woohoo! Not bird brain thing, jellyfish
That would be.
thing.
I love it.
I mean, that is something that honestly a monk would be. If there was any class that could do that, it would be a monk.
It
But
would probably be a monk, to be
Yeah.
fair.
monk.
My
But-
attacks are basically 2 turns. Sometimes people
But
like
so we're at about an hour 20 in. I'm gonna have it if Wild's able to do Wild's able
Okay.
to do so. Give us a break for this. We're gonna take a 10-minute break, and then we're gonna jump back into this fight with the very aberration and fiend wild shaping druids. And I'm gonna do my usual spiel. What is this spiel? Oh, there it is. So we'll be back, everyone, in 10 minutes who's watching and joining us. But before we do that, while you're on break, and as we head out, why not head over to roll20.net/start/WTTP and sign up for your free account today. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with modules galore on the marketplace, you'll definitely find something your group will enjoy. So, we're going to be back in about 10 minutes. See y'all soon. Love ya. Take care.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more, head on over to patreon.com/welcomepartyrpg and throw us a buck or $5. And last, but certainly not least, help out the party. Subs and bits not only support the stream, but also every 500 bits or a tier 1 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a reroll or system equivalent, and every 1000 bits or tier 2 sub gives a player or DM of your choice a crit or system equivalent. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The game will be back in just a few minutes.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Yeah.
Hello there, everybody. We return in a moment of conflict and struggle as our party has encountered two of what appear to be two of the many assailants who just attacked the ranger camp and who have been pursuing smaller contingent of the rangers led by Tatiana, and who right before we went to break seemed to wild shape into a aberration and a fiend, a grell and a bulazao respectively. And we begin with the party in the midst of combat with them, getting right into it. And as a quick note, because this is relevant to Lapu's pretty much everyone's abilities, you would also know from DD's high check that the Buluzaos are typically resistant to cold fire and lightning as well. So if you're going to think about doing anything like that, bear in mind the Buluzao is resistant to them. The Grell is immune to lightning, but everything else seems to be fine on them. But that being said, we're going to get right into it as Lapu, you are the first one up. You have the highest initiative, and you see that these two individuals have shapeshifted into these creatures. What do you do?
I look at Bo and Baya. I look back at the two creatures and ask, which one should I go for?
Somebody give them.
I look back and I'm like,
help a furball gout.
the one you can hit. Are you able to fly up to that one? And I point to the floating one.
The fly. I'm a monk. Of course I can get to them.
Okay, well, I can't, except with like long distance attacks. So maybe get that one.
Right.
All right, there. Here I go.
Okay,
I go. I say thanks, and I will go up to the brain tentacle thing and attempt to hit it.
Alrighty. Also, as a quick note for the map, the red circles are just patches of other flowers and possible spots to get some cover behind. The blue-purple circles are other patches of those magic nullifying lavender crystal patches. So just as a note, if you stand there, you will not be able to use magic. But you might be able to use that to your advantage against the enemies as well. Just noting that.
Well, I'm wondering. Well, actually, let me. From that, I'm wondering if I can get in this. Would that still count as the square if I go here?
Yes. Basically, if you are in a square that is being touched by the circle, you will be affected by the anti-magic effect of the lavender crystals.
Okay.
But otherwise, you are still... The creature did not have time to start floating up out of your reach just yet.
Okay. But does it work also, like, if I'm in the circle, if they use magic on me, would that nullify it or no?
Yes, if the magic tried to appear in you, it would be nullified entirely in the circle.
Whoop! And I will try to pow pow!
All right, pow pow away, see what happens.
Please, pow pow. Oh my god, I'm scared. Okay. Oh man.
That does not hit, unfortunately.
No, wait, no, sorry.
No, you're fine, keep it going. That will hit.
Yeah.
So, do you click on it? Okay, that's 8 points of bludgeoning damage against the Grell.
Oh god. I'm cringing as I like hit and kick it. I'm like, just feeling that the texture.
It's mushy.
I'm like,
and like it's less like you managed to get a good clean shot in the brain, and it's more like your fist just like broke off a couple sections of the tentacles.
Yeah. I look at my hand and I'm like,
You have a bonus action.
Yeah, I will. Oh man. I will. Ooh, I'm so low on key points. I'll just use one for patient defense.
Okay, and as a quick check-in, are you choosing to stay in the circle with the anti-magic effect?
Oh.
you would know that that effect would kick in. So if you just wanted to be in front of it and not standing in the circle, I would allow that because your character would know that that would hinder your abilities as well.
Yeah, let me. Let's see. I think that was. I used 40 of my movements. So.
Baya, you're going to be on deck, so have a sense of what you're going to do on your turn as well.
All right. I'll just move. I'll move another 5 feet as bonus action then to be out of the circle.
Okay, you're good. You're within reach of the creature. Baya, if that's it for your turn, Lapu, Baya, you're up.
Yep.
I cast Fly on myself.
Ooh, opening gambit.
Okay.
So feel free to move yourself around the map, but I will consider it you are floating however high up you would like to be floating.
Oh, a little floating hobgoblin.
I use the entirety of my movement to move vertically 60 feet, and I have a blue stat that covers how many feet up I'm vertically.
Wonderful.
I end my turn.
Alrighty. Dee Dee is going to look up very curiously at their sibling, and then having seen Lapu having successfully managed to deal damage to the Grell, is going to try and shame it. Just point at it and go, shame. So this creature is going to have to make a wisdom save, which I'm going to say because that was cocked because it hit another. Yeah, it fails, so it takes 19 points of damage.
Yes.
Which is really good on a Toll the Dead. That is amazing. And Dee Dee is not going to move forward. They don't have enough magic and are
He's just going to stay right there.
Dee Dee's sticking back.
Yep, just going to chill in the back.
The Bulazao creature now takes its turn. It gets, I believe it's only the one attack, but let's see, how far away are you, Bo? You look pretty tough and imposing. It's gonna go after you.
Oh wow! Okay,
of course.
Sure.
So it's gonna try and hit you with its long barbed tail. However, that's only a 14 to hit you.
That does not hit.
So unfortunately, it does not manage to do that. However, you do notice as it moves closer, all of you that are within 30 feet of it, you start feeling this overwhelming just presence, this force starting to take hold over your bodies and feeling like parts of your skin are slowly beginning to decay.
Oh. That's
alarming.
Unpleasant.
It's That's a good way of putting it, but that's all the creature is able to do. Beatrice is going to charge forward and going to try and take a smack on this Bulazao. And she has, what is it? She's got that long sword. She's gonna try and smack it. However, her first one sadly does not hit, even with her bonus. And that is definitely going to hit. That's going to be a 25 to hit. She is going to only burn. She has a few of these left, so she is going to burn a first level spell slot to invoke Divine Smite on this creature, which it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot against a fiend. This group was not expecting a paladin to be here. 17.
Wait, did you say that they wild shaped into this? So they wild shaped into something more vulnerable without knowing? That's
they
great.
Didn't know. Well, they don't know. Like, they just thought this is a bunch of rangers who maybe have some magic. They didn't know that a paladin was going to be around here. Who expects a paladin to randomly be around with a bunch of rangers? But yeah, she lands one blow on this creature, and it deals. I'll tell you not. It deals 20 points of damage with all the radiant damage kicked in.
Nice.
It takes a good chunk out of her. However, you do see she begins. It almost looks like her divine presence begins repelling some of this necrotic presence, and it looks like even the spots within the wrinkles on her skin that look as though they're beginning to rot, her divine energy holds it back, otherwise known as she passed the save by a lot. But that's it for Beatrice's turn. Bo, you're up.
Okay. Well, like, hey, this thing is standing right in front of her, so she's going to rage and then take 2 hits at it with her yes, her storm axes. I'm gonna do reckless attack, actually.
Oh, right. This either goes very, very well or very
I
bad.
mean, yeah, exactly. But that's how
There is no
Bo
in
is.
between. That's how Bo does. That's gonna hit. Now, are you choosing lightning or thunder damage?
Lightning.
Okay, so that will be halved because the Buaza seems to resist the lightning effect of your axe.
Oh.
But that's still
Wait, did I know that?
I did mention at the beginning it was cold fire and lightning is what it's resistant to.
Oh, then I would do thunder damage if I knew that already.
Right.
Okay.
So that's
Sorry.
9, that's 15, that's 24 points of damage. Oh my god. Damn. That is an impressive barbarian.
Yeah. And then I actually sorry guys, I'm going to move away because I don't like this effect.
Also, while because you started your turn within 30 feet of it, roll me a Constitution saving throw. Before you move, you're gonna add +3 to whatever you roll. So let's see, Constitution saving throw. Yeah, that's enough.
Sorry, that was still advantage.
But you'd still do it with the lower roll, which I generally take the left roll.
Right.
You feel that necrotic aura beginning to try and take hold of your skin as well, but through your own sheer natural might and the divine protective aura that Beatrice is casting out around her, it doesn't affect you.
Okay. Oh, that's right. If I move away, then I'm going to invoke an opportunity attack, right?
Right.
Okay. I still think I want to move, but I'm not going to, like, I want to be like here.
Okay.
That's still within 5 feet.
Yep, you'll still be fine. You'll be able to move around it.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to be close to Beatrice.
Beatrice, yeah. Close to your divine smiting friend. Yeah. Pick you up. All right, is that it for your turn, Bo?
That's it.
Okay, the Grell is just gonna just let out this loud sound, and it's going to take its attacks on poor Lapu, because the only one in reach. So it's going to try and hit you with its tentacles first. That's going to be an 18 to hit you, Lapu, which I'm pretty certain hits you.
Yeah.
That's 8 points of piercing damage, and I need you to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Wait, let me subtract the... Oh boy. Constitution?
Constitution.
Oh
no! Okay. Lapu.
Beatrice, I hope you're nearby.
You feel these long tentacles begin to wrap around your body, and the barbs, as they envelop you, they just suddenly just pierce into your skin.
Oh god.
And you feel this terrible, noxious, just liquid begin to go into your bloodstream. You are poisoned for 1 minute. While you are poisoned in this way, you are paralyzed and you are grappled. And it has a second attack, and because you are paralyzed, it has advantage to hit you. Over, that's a natural 1. How is that? I am not even kidding. I rolled 2 natural 1s in a row.
You did save twice against Fairy Fire, so
that's fair, and I with the same exact result. So I think this is perfectly fine. But yeah, Lapu, if nothing else, you are currently grappled and you cannot move. you will be able to save against this at the end of your turn when it comes around.
Yeah.
But now the creature is slowly floating away with you, and it's dragging you along. Like it just has you enveloped in the tentacles, has picked you up, and it's just dragging you along the ground. It's not fun. It's not fun times.
No, it's not. Ow. I'm just like in pain and saying ow as I'm being dragged.
Yeah, that is the end of its turn. So, Lapu, it is now your turn. Before anything else, I need you to roll me one Constitution saving throw. That's not enough either. As you've moved closer, as the Grell has moved you closer to the Bulazau's aura of rotting presence, you feel that rot begin to take hold of your skin and begin just melting some of your flesh. You're going to take 2 points of necrotic damage from being near the aura. And now you currently cannot move. You are paralyzed and you are grappled. So you have 0 speed and you cannot do anything. So pretty much your turn is you need to roll Constitution saving throw to see if you can break from the poison and get out of the paralysis. So I need one more Constitution saving throw from you. It's not enough. You missed it by 1. So yeah, the rest of the party is now seeing Lapu being just dragged, slowly having some of their wounds rotting and becoming infected and being unable to move while this Grell is dragging them. Baya, it's your turn. I will say you can see that the Bulazau is not looking as good as it started out. The Divine Smite and Bo's hits have really affected it very quickly.
I'll call out to the allies below me, DD, Bo, and is this the paladin?
Yeah, the knight token is Beatrice.
Beatrice, okay, and Tatiana is the centaur, right?
Yeah, the rest of your those folks are just
they ran past. I'm just trying to get names
They're
straight.
just trying to get they look like the last you saw they were even heading into the tunnel.
Okay, Centaur Ranger is Tatiana, this is Beatrice. So I yell down to them, can any of you help Lapu?
Anyone in the party want to respond?
Didi, you're not engaged with a demon. Can you help Lapu?
He will give you a look, especially and it's like really obvious because they have to kind of like crane their head to look up at you and like is like gesturing at the demon in front of them, but they're like they nod with a sense of like fine.
I fly on top of the demon and then I do something fun. I cast Eldritch Blast twice. Once with 23 and once with 15.
Those are both gonna hit.
And then each one automatically yanks the creature up 10 feet into the air with no save, and then gravity takes effect.
Oh my god, that is amazing. I
Wow.
love that. That is actually a very smart use of Grasp of Hadar. And I am all for it.
It's also hilarious. It's more hilarious than it's effective, to be honest.
Sometimes the two are synonymous. I'm gonna say that right now. And I'm rolling its damage. Oh god, it took a lot of damage from the fall. Yeah, so Bo, the Bulazau is now prone in front of you and took 9 points of bludgeoning damage and is looking like it's breathing quite heavily as a result of being lifted up in the air by
I'm curious, what does this look like to Bo? Like, what happened?
Like one of those cartoon things where like some like unseen force, like, you know, yanks somebody up in the air and then slams them back down on the ground.
I'll say to Didi, I can yeet too now. Very awkwardly.
I love this.
And since I have extra movement, I will use the remainder of my movement to further move up 20 feet.
Yeah, that works. You are single-handedly the highest flying hobgoblin that has been ever noted in this region.
Wait, so how high are you at this point?
He's like 80
Maya?
feet up in the air.
80,
Yeah.
80 feet. Okay.
Your falling rules are d6 per
Yes,
10
it's
feet,
D6
right?
per
Okay.
10 feet.
Then that is as high as I will go, because if I go higher, I might die from falling instantly.
Okay. So, is that it for your turn, Paya?
I will also call out, now that I'm 80 feet high in the air, when I said I can yeet now too, that's inspiration for my sister.
Oh.
Okay.
So they
That
get a
works.
d6 of bardic inspiration,
Okay.
please.
They have a D6 of bardic inspiration through Yeet empowerment.
Well, it seems to be a thing they're a fan of, so.
Also, yeah, Spattered Boggart, I wholeheartedly agree. Referring to being dragged across the ground by a giant tentacle that makes them rot and get infected is most assuredly an understatement of not fun times. But you're good on your turn, Paya?
I am good.
Okay, Didi is seeing Lapu. Is going to, well, why am I pulling that one? I can just do Didi's thing. Didi has decent constitution, however, fails that. So Didi is dealing with the necrotic damage, takes some necrotic damage from the rotting presence, the Buluzao. Didi sees it's looking pretty hurt, but is going to get out of the fray and is going to try and help Lapu by shaming the Grell. And is going to, instead of making it do a wisdom save, which actually does have some bit of stats in, is going to use spell secrets, and you just see a magical energy just sort of twist reality around the Grell ever so faintly, like building off of a shred of charisma taken from Bo ages ago, and make it roll for a charisma save, which it rolls a 2. So it takes 13 points of damage, and it looks... Oh my god, that actually... Yeah, that'll do it.
Dead. Woo!
Well, you could say that.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Oh.
The mage appears.
Wait, do I still have tentacles?
No, you are no longer grappled.
Since when did you have
Grell-
tentacles?
No, well, the Grell was... God damn it.
Oh, I see. I see.
The Grell
Like,
had
what?
grappled Lapu, so they had tentacles to deal with. Not Lapu actually possessed
I
tentacles.
was like, what? Have we not known this about you this entire time?
But
Surprise!
yeah.
It's
Didi's
like,
gonna-
Captain Marvel's cat. It's like,
Right.
yeah.
That is it for Didi's turn. That's a
Do
lot.
I still have tentacles?
The Buluzao, realizing it's in a pretty terrible spot, but also not wanting to be thrown up into the air again, is going to use half its movement to get up, and then is going to point its finger at you, Paya.
Oh no.
Paya, you suddenly feel the magical ability granting you flight gone.
Okay.
As the Buluzao points at you and dispels the fly spell.
I will laugh and I will say, "You are below me, though," as I fall.
Yeah, the DM did not think about that. I thought I had seen the token moved off it, but yeah, it seems like it's resigned to its fate. So
All right.
how high were you?
80
up
feet.
there? 80 feet. So yeah, that's going to be 10d6. We need a lot of these. So that's 4. Ooh. 15. 23. 32. That's 42 points of bludgeoning damage you take as you fall 80 feet down. I'm going to say the Buluzao will take half of that trying to cushion your fall, and roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, that is not something I'm good at. Oof.
Nah. I was going to have you get half if you pass, but that's not going to do it. So yeah, you take 42 points of damage as you partially get speared on the horns of the goat head, and then converts back into its original form with the 32 point. I'm going to say it's going to take that amount. Well, you're taking the 32. It's going to take at least half of that. So
Wait, you said 42 earlier.
42. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
42 is what you're taking. Thank you. Yeah, so it's taking half of that. Yeah, the Bulazao form is dispelled.
Actually, while I'm falling, actually, never mind. I won't do it. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
And the mage, the druid, appears once again. And the druid appears significantly weaker than it was before. And
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Beatrice sees that Bo could probably handle this, so she is going to make sure she gets to Lapu and make sure that you're getting healed first. Yeah, that's what she would prioritize that. The mage is going to try and take an attack of opportunity on her. Surprisingly hits with the 19 AC of the paladin. With a quarterstaff, which is weird. That's going to do 4 points of damage against Beatrice, but she is a tank in the health department. But yeah, she is going to use Lapu. How hurt are you? You're really down there, right?
If life was ranged in from 0 to 44, I'd be in the 14 range.
Okay.
So
well, you are now currently in the 29 range. She is going to dump
whoop.
15 points of lay on hands
Nice.
into you. As you just feel like as she reaches out her hands to pick you up from being like dropped from this creature, and she is going to heal you up partially from that. It feels like it's reminiscent of the feeling of being bathed in moonlight at nighttime, and you just feel it's just healing and calming, and it helps you get over the whole rotting skin and chemical effect that just happened.
I just shiver and just whisper a thank you.
Yeah, Bo, it's your turn. You got a mage who's looking quite hurt in front of you.
Yeah, and they're gonna hopefully look much more hurt after this. She is going to do all 3 attacks on this mate. Well, we'll start off with the first one. Hey, look
Was
at
that a reckless? I think you called reckless.
It was. I did, yeah. So that's a crit.
Oh my god, that's gonna do so much damage. Okay, you have a second attack. Reckless.
Sure. Yep.
That is also gonna hit. And doesn't have the immunity, and also Bo. That's exactly the health you needed to take care of the mage.
Awesome.
So, important question: do you choose non-lethal damage, or do you choose to just take out the druid?
I feel like she's kind of mad, and she did reckless attack. I don't think she would have pulled her punches, so to speak. So I don't think I want to call it non-lethal. I think she did lethal damage.
Okay. So what happens for anyone watching is that you see Bo just lay into this individual. The first cut of the axes just leaves a deep gash across her form, and she just like is like panting and heaving, but she looks at Baya on the ground. Like it's almost like in just a moment of just it feels almost like time slows down for just a second, and she looks at you, Baya, and she says, "At least you'll be with us soon." And then the second hit goes, and it just takes her out entirely. Like the cut is deep enough that just the hit impact breaks most of her ribs, and she's just launched a few feet away as the light, as like the thunder booms, and it just knocks her a few feet away. So that mage is done.
Good.
You have a bonus action if you'd like to take it.
Yeah, and I didn't do any movement either.
Nope.
I want to move to this other one. Can I take my bonus action after moving?
Yeah, you can split up your attacks.
Okay. Yep. And then that's what I will do.
Oh my god. What is this? What are you? What
damn.
are you?
This will never happen again. It's
No,
only
this will
in this
never happen
game.
again, but
It's
still.
only in this game.
Like that deals a solid chunk to her. Wow, this is the blonde ponytailed human woman. She's just got a giant gash across her now.
I mean, Bo is like really pissed off right now. Like they hurt both Baya and Lapu, and she's like, "Nah, you guys, I gotta end you."
That's how you finish out a turn, with 2 crits, then taking out somebody.
There you
Lapu, you're up. You're unfortunately still dealing with the effects of the poison, so
Yeah.
got to roll a Constitution saving throw to see if you can break the paralysis. That's more than enough. You rolled double 20s. That's amazing. But yeah, that's at the end of your turn. But you are no longer dealing with that. You're just like,
Yeah, I'm just shivering and
it's
like
your
breathing hard.
Your disgust powers through the poison.
Ugh.
And yeah, Baya, you're up.
What does the remaining caster look like they're going to do next?
The caster is like just darting their hands, their eyes around everywhere, and it looks like they're beginning to put up their hands to cast something.
Okay. They don't have a turn. When do they go?
Oh, right, because I deleted that. They're on, we'll say their initiative count 3.
Okay, I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna stand over here and I'm gonna ready action to double Eldritch Blast if they attack, cast a spell, if they do anything outside of stand still and nothing. And that's my held action, just for fun.
Okay.
I end my turn.
Dee Dee is going to, she's going to shame it because they don't want them getting away at this point. If they do, it could get worse. Sadly, this one, unfortunately, being a druid, they're trained in wisdom, so this unfortunately does not work. Beatrice is going to try. Yeah, they're going to try and do this. Less because Beatrice doesn't really want to actually try and kill these folk. She's going to try and use that spell. Unfortunately, she tries to hold person on the druid, but the druid rolls a natural 20, so there goes the 2nd level spell slot. Last one. But she's staying by you, Lapu. She wants to make sure you're going to be okay.
Does the druid like react as they shrug off these 2 spells from my sister and the paladin?
The druid's just like the druid is in full panic mode, but is
Okay.
just like trying to keep focus on casting something. You don't know what.
Gotcha.
This would have already given back. Yeah, I must have skipped the caster's turn. I'm just gonna sit there at initiative count 5. Otherwise, it's gonna give Bo a whole nother turn that they just had. If that's okay with you, Bo.
Mm-hmm.
The caster, seeing things that are going terribly. Yeah, that's their best move. They're going to try and cast Hold Person on Lapu and Bo. So I need both of you to roll me a Wisdom saving throw, but you both have a +3 to your save because Beatrice is near you.
It looks like they're trying something, so my thing triggers.
Your blast goes off, and
So I watch as like they start casting a spell, and like yoink, yoink, and 21 and 9.
9 does not hit, but the 21 will hit.
I would like to drag this person 10 feet towards me.
Okie dokes. And Bo and Lapu, I need you both to roll me Wisdom saving throws. It's +3. Yeah, Bo, you just make it. With Beatrice's aura.
Thank you for Beatrice.
Beatrice has a +3 for the aura of protection. The DC you need to reach was 14, so you just saved. Like, you suddenly feel this dark, almost fiendish vice grip begin to take hold of your muscles, and then you see a pulse of blue and white energy emanate out of Beatrice's holy symbol, and it breaks the vice grip on your muscles, and you just like, nah.
Okay.
Nah.
Whew. Close call.
Druid's gonna run. She's just gonna take off. That's all of her movement to try and get out.
God damn it.
Well, then I get an opportunity attack because she was engaged with me.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
slap her with my quarterstaff. I would like
That does actually hit.
Oh, I get an opportunity attack also.
Yeah,
right?
she's yeah, because she's out of your range too.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's in your range, so yeah, she's just trying to leave. She's panicking.
She takes
Okay.
5 points of bludgeoning from me.
I'm gonna tell you right now, she has an AC of 11, which means you just hit her. Because I know how hard Bo can hit.
Yes.
Yeah. She's just running.
Okay.
Whose turn is it?
I'll say it's Bo's turn now.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have anything good to stop this person. So I
Don't worry, I can yoink them back.
right. I think I think Bo is actually going. Beatrice still has healing spells.
She can still heal. She still has lay on hands. She hasn't used any of the lay on hands, and she still has a few spell slots.
Okay. Are we technically out of combat right now?
Basically, at this point, you all could deal enough damage to take her out. It just depends what you want to do. I'm letting you have your turn to sort of finish out this combat round, and then I'll tell you what could happen depending on what you do.
I am not going to chase after her. So Bo is actually concerned about Lapu.
Protect the
so I think Bo is
so
like she's just not going. She's not going to do anything, and she's gonna drop her rage actually and just go over to Lapu and Beatrice.
Okay, so that's your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Initiative count 20 arrives.
Oh, such an ominous way to say it.
Yeah.
Watch
Dreaded,
as
hated, it arrives.
she turns around to look at all of you, and she's going to keep running. And Lapu, right as it gets to your reaction to, depending on whatever you wanted to do, you look up and you see her just looking up and just start speaking. And just saying, no, 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 no. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know. I wouldn't have otherwise. No, 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 no. Please don't. No, 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 no. A burst of red and orange flame overtakes her. And as the flame dies down, she is gone.
Are there burn
Like-
marks or just gone?
Just gone.
There's like no ashes or
There are
like no trace
ashes,
at
no.
all.
It's almost like she was teleported in a gout of hellfire.
Okay. Um,
I would like to sniff the hellfire. Does it leave a smell? Are you looking something up? Do you have like an entry of like smells?
No, I don't. No, you just asked me a question. I gave you an answer. Yes, it smells like something. You didn't ask a follow-up question, so
Oh, I didn't
Wow.
hear the answer. What does it smell like?
It's blood and peaches.
Oh.
oh, was that? Okay,
Oh.
okay. Hmm.
I look up at the sky and I'm like, rude. I'm gonna go check on Lapu.
I just wave at everyone who's around me.
Are you still dying?
No,
Are you?
Beatrice helped out a
Okay.
lot, but I'm pretty tired.
Are you sure? I poke at the rotten flesh to see if it keeps rotting.
No,
Why would you?
Lapu, it does hurt, but you notice that once it's poked once, and then there's like a few cuts where like for a second you think it's infected, but it's almost like a delayed effect of the lay on hands takes hold, and the cuts are sealed up, and there's no risk of infection.
Okay, that's good. Because lest you forget, I can heal too. So I was checking.
No, I appreciate it, but Beatrice came in at the right time. How are you all?
Irritated.
I could use a really good dinner and a really good sleep.
That's
Wait, we're literally trying to evacuate the camp, and we didn't do that yet. What are you talking about?
Beatrice.
Hey, Lapu asked how I was feeling. I told Lapu how I was feeling.
As they're
didn't say-
bickering, I look
I
at
didn't say
Beatrice.
that's what I'm about to do right this moment. I just said that's how I feel.
Beatrice
Are you
is,
okay, Beatrice?
I'm fine. I'm glad my presence was helped avert something terrible. Let me see something real quick. Well, I can't make out from here very well how it's going, but I think you see her like turning in the direction of where the camps are. And while she's doing that, I want everyone to roll me a perception check.
There we go. Finally.
You, I'll say, Bo, if you haven't rolled for
Yeah,
perception.
my thing is slow.
There you go. I'd say that's enough. It's not super hard to see. I'll say that Baya picks up on more details. For the most part, you all see that the Myconid's arrival, there's a swarm of other Buluzaos and what looks like tall humanoidish figures that are deep blue skin wielding long sharpened spears whose around their faces it almost looks like they have writhing snakes, like bearded like snakes around their faces, almost like a bearded devilish sort of look to them. And but the myconids seem to actually be holding them off, and you see the grells in the air. You see a couple of them look as though they're descending, and then you just see in the middle of the air, they turn to stone. And they fall and collapse on some of the bearded devils and the Bulazao. It looks as though, I'll say Paya, because you rolled so high, you're getting a sense that there might still be some fighting going on, but the Myconid's arrival has helped significantly, and it might be able to keep too many more casualties from resulting from this.
It looks like the Myconids and Camilla are doing their job. Let's hurry and join them.
Can Bo stop to drink this potion of greater healing really
Yes,
quickly?
you can. You can.
I just raised my eyebrow. I'm like, wow, she's actually gonna drink it, and then I'm gonna keep walking.
I still have mine. I it's still like in my bag somewhere. I'm just like,
I like need it.
Well, I will tell you right now.
Mhm.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
oh god, it's
Oh, jeez.
Still gonna heal you. It's just gonna have some trick to it, no doubt.
it's a trap.
Yeah, probably. Oh, that's not high enough, I don't think.
You feel for a moment as the liquid begins coursing down your throat and moving through your body. Your wounds repair and nothing happens outside of that.
That is a strange sound as you drink that potion. Are you okay? Did it go down the wrong way?
No, you're fine. It heals you. Do you want me to roll the amount, Bo, or do you want to roll the amount and roll 20?
I'll do it.
Okay.
It's what is it?
44 plus 4.
Okay.
Okay. Before the group starts heading out, you also Tatiana and that contingent comes up to me, all of you. Thank you. We're very lucky to be alive right now.
Well, there's others that perhaps are still in danger, so we're headed that way as quickly as we can. If you're injured, stay here. You won't be of help. If there's still a threat, we'll evacuate. If there's not, then we'll give you the all clear.
All right. Thank you for your help. Well, there'll be more information after we solve this mess, but do what you can.
Yes, go rest.
Yeah, she's like all 4 of her legs are like knobbly. She's barely standing up, and Beatrice just sort of calls out to the group, I will attend to them and heal what bits I can. Go, do what you can. So, this is not going to be a combat sequence. To determine how well the party is able to help finish off this aspect of the conflict happening, this is sort of going to be a modified skill challenge.
Okay.
Okay.
So the way this works is that I want between the 3 of you here, and then you as a group can decide if you want DD to roll for a certain skill. I want you to tell me a skill, preferably one that you have proficient in, though I will allow a skill you are not proficient in, even though it's not advisable. You have to meet a couple of successes before you meet a certain amount of failures. The idea is you need to tell me, using any of your skills, what you do to try and make this fight turn in the favor of the Rangers. Because right now, as you arrive into the camp, you see there are still Grell throughout. There's an occasional bearded devil, and you see Bulazao, just their rotting presence is wearing down people overall in the camp. You're arriving at this moment with your current health. I want you to tell me what you do each in turn to try and make this either an effective escape or turn the tide in your favor to help the Rangers. I will not tell you how many times you need to succeed. I will tell you 3 failures will result in a failure of the overall challenge.
I would like to emphasize to the party that our victory condition is evacuation and not not war victory. not conquest. And if you all have a plan, I would like to be a distraction while you get people out. Is that okay?
Yeah, if you feel that's more of your strength.
I specifically want to work with Camilla. I would like to do a deception check. The coordination that I wanted to do is I have Mask of Many Faces, so I can look like somebody injured. I have Prestidigitation, so I can make the sound of somebody injured. I have Minor Illusion, so I can make the blood of somebody injured. And I want to keep tricking people, or tricking, I suppose, the creatures with eyes into basically going towards Camilla and turning into rocks. So basically, I like get Camilla around a corner, right? And then I run out myself and look injured, or I make an illusion of somebody looking injured.
And you try and get their attention to go towards you, which in turn has them seeing Camilla and turning.
Yeah, I'm just pranking all
I
of
would
them.
allow that. I want you to roll me deception. Let's see what happens. That is enough. That will count that as one success. What happens is, as you do this, you see a few contingent of what you see are other druids that are wearing, some of them in more naturalistic outfits that seem to have been made from vines and leaves and other fungal sort of carapace armors. But you see some of them wearing the cultist uniforms that you've seen in the past. But your magic is just enough with changing form however many times you need to start confusing them enough to divert their attention towards Camilla. And Camilla, there's a sense of she is like very shakily in her movements carrying forward, like she's very uneasy and unsteady, but she is keeping her gaze as focused on them as she can. So that is one success.
So an idea that I have for Bo is like, is there any kind of like larger, like maybe 3 or 4 or more of our allies who are battling these other things? Well, allies, but the
Rangers and such.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You see Corbin,
bloodied,
Corbin. Gashes all across his face. He looks like a whole section of his shoulder is starting to rot off. He is barely standing, but he has 2 long swords on each side of him, just crying out at more of these things. And it looks like there's a set of 6 Bulazau that are about to charge him, along with what looks like a Goliath who is wielding a great axe, who's just tattoos all across his body, and a large black obsidian great axe that emanates slightly dark energy out of it, but it looks like he's working with the Rangers. It looks like he was visiting, maybe, and passing through when this happened. The 2 of them are just like back to back, like seeing this contingent of 6 rushing them.
Okay. So I think what I want to do is Bo wants to get close enough, but not like come between them. She's not trying to engage in battle, but like she's wants to like storm the down toward them with her axes, and just like a battle yell and like, come and get me. And I'm going for using intimidation on the Grells, or whichever one it is that they're fighting, in order to disengage so that Corbin and the other person can, like, escape.
Make use of the distraction in order to get their hits in, and like, or just get out of there if need be.
Just run.
Yeah. Okay. I will say I'll allow you to use intimidation. I will also allow you, if you would like, depending on what method you want to try and provoke that distraction, because are you just yelling and trying to scare them to entice you, or are you trying to do something physically strenuous to try and like get them to like notice, oh look, this is another big target, we should go attack her?
No, I mean, like, she has her axes out and like threateningly, but it's more like she's just trying to get their attention and make herself seem like she's the bigger threat.
Okay, roll me intimidation. We'll see what happens with this. Damn, that is enough. You feel just for a moment the presence you felt before in Chantico. You feel just standing alongside you the presence of the warden, who just simply like like slowly pats your shoulder, and you feel a course, just a rush of storm energy fill the axes, and it's almost like you have your own your ancestor is summoned, but they shine brightly for 30 feet with an aura of storm energy that just pulls the whole contingent of Bulazau towards you. And Corbin and the Goliath just sort of turn, kind of startled by the whole thing, but they're like, all right, fuck it, let's run. And they just
Please.
take off. But yeah,
Okay.
that being said, the nature of that distraction has made it so that in Baya's case, Baya had Camilla to immediately deal with the threat. Now
Right.
the situation has changed. You succeeded, so that's another success towards the skill challenge. But you now have a set of 6 bulas out that are now trying to charge you.
Absolutely.
So, Lapu, what do you do to try and help this situation out?
I'm going to take a non-combative route, and I want to assist. Beatrice and like maybe somehow like uh assist in like healing, not so much as magic, but more like maybe help bandaging up people that so they're more able to like
Run and
move,
so
run,
more like emergency first aid, kind of like
right, kind of like just have them be like patched up enough that they can leave and then hopefully get treated
like when they're away from the main conflict,
yeah,
out of the fight. Okay, so what are you trying to use? What skill are you trying to use in order to
I was gonna use medicine.
Okay, roll me a medicine check and we'll see what happens.
Okay, every time I do a check though, even though I'm proficient, it never goes well, but we'll see.
We'll see. That's enough.
Good.
You manage while you are still recovering from the current fight. This is a moment that I would say actually partially is tied to the fact that you actually haven't used a lot of the element abilities from your subclass as much. That
Yeah.
they flare up in a moment where it's almost like you see individuals on the ground where the rotting presence is beginning to spread across their arms, and also more importantly it's starting to get to their legs, so it's going to start hindering some of their movements. The flames, just in a moment of just like concern and worry for them, erupt out of you.
Oops.
But you use it almost like as a cauterizing agent to burn
Ooh.
off the infection. And you also are able to just take some elements of water and bend it out of some of the materials around the camp that has spilled over, and help sort of use it to propel folks along. So using the 4 elements and the remaining bit of key magic, this will spend your last key point in order to do this. But using that, you're able to deal with the immediate threats of the rotting presence affecting different individuals, keep them from dying from it, and get another section of individuals who likely would have died immediately had you not gotten to them. That is another success. You're at 3 successes, everybody.
Yay.
All right. This one I leave up to the group. Do you want Beatrice or Dee Dee to roll something, or would another one of you like to submit another skill? You cannot use the same skill again. You have to use a different skill.
I'll say I'll submit one until we as a group run out before making use of like DD or Beatrice. But you mentioned, I do recognize that some of these people are basically wearing the same cultist robes as like my cult, right?
Yes.
So I should know, because even though I was just used as a blaster, I should know roughly their scouring patterns. Like, I don't know the structure of the camp, but I should have some idea of like how they go about exterminating things.
How they would attack a camp or how they would attack a minor location or group. Yes, I would say that.
I'm going to attempt to glean that through insight check, and every time I glean a pathway, I would like to lead evacuees to the exits of the camp in a way that I think they either won't have covered, or in a fashion that I think will cause them to overlook it. Like maybe they're leaving in ones and twos, and like they don't like picking up stragglers because they want to pick off a larger group, something like that.
Yeah, like that would make sense. All right, roll me insight. This will be one of the hardest checks.
Okay. I would like to use also saving face. I don't know what would apply depending on who I'm leading around.
It would be your allies, so I would say yeah, but even with that, because you gain a bonus equal to number of allies. Yeah, I'd say at most you'd have 2 people next to you among your allies because folks are scattered all throughout. But
I'll submit 16 then.
16 is exactly what you needed.
Ooh.
Okay.
Like you just passed it. I've been, as is the case with a lot of skill challenges, increasing the DC as each of you do it. That is just enough. You manage to scatter different folks. There's occasional moments where even the trickery magic you've been using with Camilla, you are able to also employ that to not only get certain survivors out of there, but to also trick some of the other folks, the cultists, away. And in the process, because you needed to reach 4 successes in order to beat the skill challenge, and you did it all in the first 4 tries. As this happens, I'll say the other effect is that as you're able to also trick and divert some of the cultists, as about 6 of these Bulazau are about to jump and descend onto Bo, there is just a sudden sweeping massive confusion that interrupts them as a whole SWAT of cultists start heading towards a direction that you've led them where other survivors might have been. As that happens, you see another break happen in the camp where more of the Myconid swarm on the Bulazau. It overtakes most of the threats, and you see the fight and the tide somewhat turn, but more importantly, you are all able to prevent a majority of the camp from being wiped out from this. You do see from passing by there are roughly at least 7 casualties, just people who just could not make it out in time. But you do manage to take care of a good chunk of the people and get them away from the camps, from the biggest mess of it, and succeed. The skill challenge is a success.
Huzzah. And then we run away for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean,
I would like all of you just one more time just to roll me a perception check. Jesus, Bio, what the hell?
I've used, in case you haven't noticed, I've used every single thing at my disposal. My patron, my backstory, my saving face, all of my spells.
You are the only one to notice, Baya. As you see the tide somewhat turning and the Myconids are pushing the Bulazau away, you spot somewhere in the distance wings on the back of a humanoid figure, raising a sword and pointing it in the direction of a forest, way off at the edges of your sight line. You wouldn't even have seen the forest, but you rolled a crit, so I'll say way off, past the hills, past the whole of the plains. You see this angelic figure. Almost looks like they're leading the remaining forces back into the direction of this forest.
Leading the Bulazau
cultists and the Bulazau and the Grells. Because you see some of the Bulazau and such turn back into humanoids, and they just start fleeing while the Myconids are attacking.
Okay.
I plan to share with the party, but for the sake of tonight's session, I think I'll keep it to myself as we escape.
Yeah. You all make it to the outside of the cave. There are with checking in with people from the camp, there are a total of 12 casualties. In addition, including the ones that you saw as you were passing by. But it looks like of these several dozen that were there, you managed to keep a lot of them safe by out of game succeeding in the skill challenge and leading people away, and more importantly, diverting the attention of a lot of the enemy troops. You see Camilla return, very tired. The cloth covering her eyes again, holding onto the cane, but you can see the very tops of her hands have cuts and scrapes, and there's probably a thin line of blood that's trickling down the cane as well. But she says, "It is done. Or at least we've done all that we can."
I will march up to Camilla, and I will grab one of her hands and raise it in the air, and I'll say, 3 cheers for Camilla for saving the camp. Hip, hip, hooray. And I'm just going to, like, glare at my party because even if they don't know what I'm doing, I hope they catch on.
I never heard
Sure.
that term, so I'm just like, hip, hip. Hip, hip.
Yeah, I think Bo is just gonna like salute with one of her axes.
Bo, I'm going to say with trying to get away from the bullets out, let me just roll something real quick. How
Oh no.
quickly it went.
It's just real quick.
We're going to retcon that you never even made it out at this rate.
JK.
You would have taken 38 points of slashing damage from all of the bullets out, like as you were escaping, and just different cuts and scrapes, but you're a barbarian, you would have raged, cut in half. But taking that potion was a very good idea.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm pretty glad right now that I took that potion.
But Baya, it's a little tentative, maybe even slightly awkward at first, but folks from the camps, they maybe don't all understand, and maybe for, I'd say Bo, because she has the highest past perception, you can see some folks are maybe a little uneasy near Camilla, but when you make the call for it, they do cheer, and there's this very faint bit of murmuring that goes out through the camp, or the remains of the camp, rather. And there is this sense of genuine appreciation for what Camilla has done. And you see Myconid slowly appear later, and Camilla just sort of walks a little bit away from the camp, a little shy, a little like very much taken aback by all of the attention. And you see that Beatrice follows after her and just sort of gives her a hug and like just comforts her. But it seems like for the most part, the camp is okay. It's not great. They've lost people, but it could have been a lot worse. And you see for but a split second among the crowd, you see the small tiefling child just sort of like very, like almost, like just very happily clapping along. And you just hear your patron's voice say, "Nice job."
I'm going to go try to kick the child.
Fire.
Well, here's the thing. You try and look back again, the child's gone. The last thing you hear her say is, "I'll be seeing you real soon."
I shake my fist at the everything.
Party, you are all able to check in with different folks. Corbin is torn to shit.
Oh no.
He's alive. He's alive. Note that for
Okay,
the record.
good,
He's just
good.
like fucking. It's less about which blood vessels haven't probably burst at this point, and more about which ones haven't. He's
Oh, God.
wrecked.
Oh,
He's the equivalent of like, imagine a barbarian who with like +5 con max rolls on their dice being at 1 hit point. Like he's at that level of like he's taken a lot of beatings. And
I
he's
go to him and I say, "You look like shit," and the shit is a healing word. The word shit is a healing word.
thanks. Great job. Like gives a thumbs up, but like he just stops and he's like, by the way, tell both thanks to thanks everyone. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go pass out for a bit.
sure.
He just like slumps. He's just
Hey,
like,
gang, me too. And I'm going to slump next to him because I have 4 HP and nothing.
Whoa.
no, like literally part of the reason I was like, oh wait, Baya said 80 feet, right? Well, that's a decent amount of damage. And then I rolled really high for the bludgeoning, and Baya's only got like 46 health.
Yep.
So that fall almost killed Baya, or like almost knocked Baya out.
Don't mention it. I'm going to go to sleep.
But for y'all's information, just sort of get a sense of the takeaways from the evening. You hear, if with checking in with Tatiana and such, that after you all left, as night began to descend, just very faintly, because by the time you all got over and like talked with Camilla for a bit, it was starting to get into like early duskish. The attack just came out of nowhere. It was almost like they just suddenly emerged out of the ground, and it was at different points almost like seeing like small mouses suddenly appearing from burrowing out of the ground that just turned into the creatures, like out of character, wild shaped into mice, and then wild shaped into all of those fiends
Right.
creations.
Hmm.
But so far it seems like the main takeaway is that they received reports right as the attack happened from a contingent that had gone out to Melora's Blessing some time ago, that there have been kidnappings that have happened. They had one that you all had heard about in a few previous sessions, that they weren't certain if this was related. But as this attack happened, a few individuals were taken from the camp. And the direction that they were heading was eastward, towards the forest of Melora's Blessing. And yeah, folks are worried about them, but there's, I'll say this, almost not joyful, but perhaps hopeful sense among some of them that they might return. And there's a few, you hear murmurings throughout different people among the folks who survived, that it seems as though part of that hopefulness is inspired by the fact that you all came in, and because you succeeded so well in the skill challenge, they have a sense that maybe you can help them, or maybe that they can be hopeful that if not themselves, then other people can help them get the people back.
I look at Baya and I go, they were heading east.
I am super unconscious right now.
I still say that.
Okay.
Still saying it's a Baya.
I was just oblivious. Like I was like looking, and I'm like, they're
like even if I stayed awake enough to hear the debrief, immediately afterward, I collapse next to Corbin. Like,
So-
I'm just so
Oh,
drained.
Like I think like
he's knocked out.
after hearing Lapu, like Bo is gonna go over and say, I guess he can't object to us trying to follow and help at this point, right?
Yeah, for someone who isn't part of the whole saving people thing, he's doing a pretty good job faking it.
I mean, yeah. That was actually pretty genius to get Camilla in people's good graces by claiming her as the person who did all that.
Well, she did pretty much
She
do a
did,
lot of
yeah.
single-handedly.
But would she have taken the credit or even,
That's true.
probably not, right? And people would have still thought of her as a monster.
That's true. Well, I'm pretty sure there are more people on her side now that even if Baya didn't step, we would have made people see. I'm just glad that Baya did it.
Yeah.
Where is Dee Dee? Are they okay?
Also, like in a corner, like passed out.
Are they passed out?
Yeah. Like Dee, like just real talk. Like Dee Dee's on no spell slots. Like was taking 4 damage, was down to 18 health, and like any severe hit from either creature would have been really bad.
Okay.
So
it definitely seems like the siblings need a rest, though.
Yeah. Well,
I think we all
do.
We all do. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's the decision is up to us, I guess. I guess we're going east. They weren't here for the decision making. So,
yeah, they couldn't vote.
Yep. With that said, let's pass out too.
Yeah, let's take a rest.
yeah. And so as the night passes on, it's a quiet evening. The winds that have passed through the plains more often through the day, a sort of occasional howl or almost a screech of sudden violent wind energy, turn to a cool breeze in the evenings, soft and pleasant. And you all sleep well. There are perhaps some moments of discomfort in Lapu's case, remembering the tentacles and all of that. But for all of you, it is a well-earned rest. And you are all able to awaken in the morning, fully recovered, having taken a long rest.
Thank you.
Tatiana, Beatrice, and even Camilla greet you all with thanks. From Beatrice's case, Beatrice is a little bit more of a huggy person, so for anyone who is interested in a hug, you can get one from Beatrice. You're actually noticing the first time she's out of her armor, and she's just wearing a relatively simple and basic tunic that seems a little bit more inspired by some of the Chantico spider-like designs that you've seen before. That's very drow, based in a lot of drow sort of origins and culture. But they also have one additional thing for you all. Gathered from, bless you.
Bless.
You've been blessed. Tatiana cast bless on you. Having gotten through all of that, they did find the remains of items that they wanted to pass on. These various items that several cultists' bodies that were scavenged and left behind. They did find a variety of items for the party to acquire. They decided this, and in addition to helping the group survive, the camp survive, this is the reward they wanted to give to you all. So, out of character for what the party wants to write down, because somebody please write this down or I'm going to forget unless I have to go back to notes. You get the following items. You get 7 100 GP worth gems. So you get 700 golds worth of gems and 3 potions. You get one that Dee Dee, I'm not even going to roll for this because Dee Dee has such a high proficiency in Arcana that you know what all 3 of these items are. One is a dark gray liquid-like substance that whenever you look at it, there's almost like strands of it that become little bits of gas being held in the vial. It's a potion of gaseous form. The second one is one that as you look into it, you feel almost for a moment like you sense moments of your past, present, even the sense of the future. It's a potion of clairvoyance. And the one that perhaps is most, will likely be most intriguing to the melee fighters, it's a deep red, it's almost like volcanic rock tinge, like yellow orangey kind of color that when you uncork the stopper, it has almost a like nice, robust, cinnamony kind of smell to it. It is a potion of stone giant strength.
Ooh.
So you get all of that for helping the camp.
What was that last part?
Potion of stone giant strength. Essentially, I don't know the other 2 items, but I think it's for about an hour you get a strength of, let me double check, stone giant strength should be right there. Yeah, you get a strength of 23 after you take a drink from it. Once you consume the whole potion, you'll get, for 1 hour, you get a strength of 23, which is great. Because for either the barbarian, it's great on melee attacks, but also Lapu, you as a monk, you can choose to use either dexterity or strength for your attacks. So you could still fight and have improved fighting from taking that while still being Dexy monk. But yeah, we are going to cap off the session there as the party has received their rewards. You receive a thanks from everyone who is interested, but mainly the leaders, Tatiana, Camilla, and Beatrice, for helping them. And they give you clear directions and a path that leads directly to the western boundary of the forest of Agni, known as Melora's Blessing. And before we wrap up our session, I would like to add one additional fun note for the party. You get level 7.
Yay!
So you all level up.
Woot.
Yeah.
So you just got a long rest and you've leveled up. So that's a thing that you all have for leading into our final session for the stream season.
I know.
No.
So this is going to be fun, y'all. We are going to be taking almost kind of a break before that final one because different folks in the group are going to be traveling or going to be involved with different stuff. So we won't be back until the very end of the season.
Family,
all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we will be back on December 14th for the last session streamed of Adventures in Agni with our all PoC cast. But I want to thank our viewers for having been with us, and let's go around and tell folks who you are and where folks can find you on the interwebs. So our very unfortunate tentacle wrapped furball monk, Gemma.
I was like this close and going like, hey, this is becoming sort of a veil for me. We should like,
Yeah.
It was getting, whew, but
Yeah,
but it was fine. I was fine. But yeah, I am the tentacle surviving furball monk Lapu, but my true name is Gemma, but I go by Kupo Knight on Discord and Twitter. On Twitter, it's It's a 0 for the O. You can find me. Well, it'll be my last Saturday on Adventures in Agni soon. And you can find me on Sunday mornings and the Nerds with Dice channel. I am in a mini campaign called 15 Days in Pasadena, where we're playing Capers Noir, and it's spooky and full of like caper superpower shenanigans in the 1940s. It's great. It's good times. So that's at 9 a.m. Eastern time on Sundays. So tomorrow, if you're having breakfast, come check us out. Yeah, and I'm on the welcome to the party Discord, but not so much active lately because work and life has just been but yeah, you can find me on the Discords, ranting something on Twitter, and yeah, that's about it.
Alrighty, and our critting machine of the evening, Bo, is known as Lily. Take it away.
Hello, I play Bo, and I am Lily. I'm Elise on Life on Twitter, and I am La Scribe on Twitch and Discord. And well, I will be on the last session of Adventures in Agni, but I do some other things here at Welcome Party RPG. I will be on a one shot of the side quests, which is on this Monday coming up. Monster Hearts 2 is the one shot that we'll be doing. And I also take part in 3V, which is on hiatus, but will be coming back soon. And that's Visible, Vibrant, Victorious. And it is an all POC show that happens on Sundays. And then the other thing that I do is I am a cast member on Misfits of Space, which is an all-female player Star Wars actual play podcast. So check that out.
We're also going to be in another side quest one shot with me as a player, which will be such a trip. Also because I literally am taking Lily's suggestion to play a druid because she wanted to see what I do with the druid.
Druids rule.
Druids are good. They're a weird class, but weird in a very wonderful way. Last but not least, our wonderful Fiendlock / Hadar grasping flying hobgoblin by otherwise known as Ant.
Hello, I am Ant, otherwise known as Anthony, and you can find me online on Discord as Jojo7209. I also write for the blog dungeonanthology.com, and I am part of an anthology of East Asian-inspired adventures coming soon to a Kickstarter near you, hopefully 2020. Yeah.
Wonderful. And as always, I am Angela, otherwise known as Phoenix24FM. I am the DM here, obviously, for Adventures in Agni. I'm also a player for the Friday Let Sleeping Angels Lie campaign, where we're just getting more and more things escalating, and we're fighting things like, an Archangel that's a reflavored Solar that hits so goddamn hard, and we can't hurt him, and it's really hard. And also one half of a Queerly Yours podcast where my partner and I, who are both trans and in a polyamorous relationship, share a bunch of relationship advice because our friends told us we are apparently insightful because we've been together plus 8 years. That's a thing. But yeah, you can find me in a lot of those different places, and you haven't been as much active on the WTTP Discord, but you can usually find me on there trying to be supportive or just saying people are cute or awesome because that's what I do, and just throw out gay happiness and affirmation and feels because that's just the whole of who I am. But yeah, that's going to be it. And also want to give a very, very big thanks to our wonderful producer, Wild Engineer, for helping us out here and taking over for Mariam, who was unable to join us today and who is usually our producer. So thank you again, Wild, for all of your help. But yeah, that is going to be it. I don't believe anyone else is on to raid, so I think we're just going to cut it here. Thank you to those of you who joined. And we love you very dearly. And we'll see you on December 14th for the end of this streaming season with us and the end of what this adventure has streamed for the group in Melora's Blessing. Thank you so much, everyone. We love you. We hope to see you again soon.